So Scott Moe just went on record saying he'd vote for a united Canada any day and every day, which is exactly what you say when people are definitely not whispering about separation at every Tim Hortons in your province. Nothing says we're totally fine, like a premier needing to publicly announce his loyalty to the country he's already governing. It's like your partner randomly texting you, just so you know, I'm not cheating on you at 3 in the morning. Cool, cool, cool. Wasn't worried before, but now? Anyway, buckle up because we're diving into Saskatchewan's awkward family dinner moment where everyone's pretending Alberta didn't just ask for separate. Here's the tea. Scott Moe, Saskatchewan's premier, and the guy who looks like he coaches hockey on weekends, just had to address the elephant in the prairies. And that elephant is wearing a cowboy hat and has strong opinions about transfer payments. See, his bestie next door, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, just launched something called the Alberta Next Panel, which sounds like a startup pitch but is actually a committee to discuss whether Alberta should stay in this relationship with Canada or swipe left on Confederation. And because that wasn't spicy enough, Smith also made it easier to trigger a referendum, including one about separation. She basically lowered the bar from you need to really want this to, if you're kinda mad after a Flames loss, sure, let's vote. Now Moe's standing there like the middle child trying to keep the family together while his sibling is packing their bags. He told reporters that sure, some people want to separate, but they're just frustrated. You know, the way you're frustrated when your Wi-Fi cuts out during the finale, not frustrated like you're ready to declare independence and mint your own currency. According to Moe, these folks are just blowing off steam, probably mad about equalization payments, federal environmental policies, or the fact that nobody in Ottawa can pronounce Saskatchewan correctly on the first try. But here's where it gets interesting. Moe could have played it safe, given some generic politician answer about unity and moved on. Instead, he went hard on the I Love Canada energy. He said he'd vote for a strong and united Canada on a hypothetical referendum ballot, which is politician speak for please don't make me actually run this referendum because I have enough problems already. He's basically doing damage control before the fire even starts, which is smart because once you light the separation match, it's tough to blow it out. Just ask Quebec, who's been in an on-again, off-again relationship with Canada since before your grandparents were born. The thing is, Moe's walking a tightrope here. Saskatchewan and Alberta are like those two friends who finish each other's sentences and hate all the same people. They've got similar economies, both heavily invested in oil and gas, both feeling ignored by Ottawa, both convinced that Eastern Canada doesn't understand them and probably never will. So when Alberta starts talking about leaving, Saskatchewan has to at least nod politely, even if they're not ready to join the breakup party. Moe's essentially saying I hear you, I feel you, but maybe let's not burn down the house just yet. Now let's zoom out because this isn't just provincial drama, this is Canadian drama, and we love that. What Danielle Smith is doing in Alberta isn't happening in a vacuum. She's tapping into real frustration that's been building for years. Western alienation isn't new, it's been simmering since Pierre Trudeau's national energy program made Alberta's oil industry as popular in the West as pineapple on pizza in Italy. And now with carbon taxes, emission caps, and federal policies that feel like they're designed in Toronto coffee shops, that frustration has gone from simmer to rolling boil. But here's the plot twist, separation talk is expensive political theatre that rarely goes anywhere. It fires up the base, it gets headlines, it makes Ottawa nervous, but actually leaving Canada? That's complicated. We're talking currency issues, international trade agreements, Indigenous rights negotiations, splitting federal assets, figuring out who gets the military bases, and probably a decade of paperwork that would make filing your taxes look fun. Plus, and this is crucial, most Canadians including most Albertans and Saskatchewanians, still want to be Canadian. They just want to be heard. So what's really happening here? Political chess, baby. Smith is using the separation threat as leverage, and Moe is trying to support his neighbor without accidentally starting a national crisis. It's like when someone threatens to quit their job, they might actually be hoping for a raise and better benefits. Alberta's saying maybe we'll leave and hoping Ottawa responds with wait, let's talk about that equalization formula again. Meanwhile, Moe's standing there going we're frustrated too, but let's use our inside voices. The genius and danger of Moe's approach is that he's acknowledging the frustration without endorsing the solution. He's saying these separatist feelings are valid emotions, just not valid policy. It's the political equivalent of I understand why you're upset, but maybe don't send that text. He's trying to be the voice of reason while also making sure Saskatchewan doesn't get left behind if Alberta actually gets concessions from Ottawa. Here's what matters for the average Canadian watching this unfold. This isn't really about separation, it's about power dynamics in Confederation. It's about provinces with resources feeling like they are funding services they don't control. It's about the eternal Canadian tension between regional identity and national unity. And honestly, it's about whether our federal system can adapt to make everyone feel like they're getting a fair deal, or whether we're going to keep having this same fight every decade with different haircuts. Moe voting for a united Canada isn't shocking news, but him having to say it out loud? That's the story. It means the conversation has shifted enough that premiers now need to publicly declare their loyalty to the country, which should probably worry us all at least a little bit. So there you have it. Saskatchewan's premier loves Canada, Alberta's flirting with the exit, and the rest of us are watching this family drama unfold wondering if someone needs to call a therapist, or maybe just increase transfer payments and call it a day. If you want to stay updated on whether Canada stays together or becomes the world's most polite breakup, hit that subscribe button because Canadian Insights is covering this mess every single day. Drop a comment telling me if you think this is all political theatre or if we should actually be worried. And remember, it's not separation, it's just exploring our options. Sure, Jan.